In this video, you will learn how to work with mixed expressions in the context of algebra. So we're going to look at a few examples of what we mean by this, and then how to work with the mixed expressions. So example 1, we're dealing with actual numbers. All right, so we need to know how to do this with real numbers before we get into the algebra component. So here we are told to write 3 2/3 as a fraction in simplest form. All right, so we are trying to write this basically as an improper fraction. Now you've learned how to do this before, but this is just to remind you of the process. We can think of 3 2/3 as 3 plus 2/3. Okay, and then 3 I can think of as 3 over 1. And to add these together, I need a common denominator. So I need to change the denominator from a 1 into a 3. And to do that, I have to multiply the top and the bottom by 3. So that becomes 9 over 3 plus 2 over 3, which would then give me 11 over 3. All right, so that's how you do this with actual numbers. Now we're going to throw in some algebra. Here we are told to write b plus 4 over b as a fraction in simplest form. So we're trying to write this as one fraction. So same process. Okay, we want to think of b as being b over 1, and then I need a common denominator. So I need to convert this first fraction into something over b. All right, so b over 1 equals something over b. So to do that, I multiply the 1 by b to get b, multiply the top, which is b, by b. That gives me b squared. So I have b squared plus 4 over b. And now I can combine the numerators, b squared plus 4 over b. So I've written the original expression as one fraction in simplest form. Here is another example. We now have 3 minus x minus 1 over x plus 4. So again, we want to write this as one fraction. So we can think of the 3 as being 3 over 1. And I need to write that as something over x plus 4. Well, to get from 1 to x plus 4, I had to multiply by x plus 4. So I multiply the top by x plus 4 as well. So I have 3 times x plus 4 for the first fraction over x plus 4 minus x minus 1 over x plus 4. And now from here I can combine into one fraction. So I can distribute. We have 3x plus 12. So 3x plus 12 over x plus 4. Then we subtract the x minus 1. Let's just do that here in one step. So you're subtracting the entire thing. You're subtracting an x. So subtract x, and you're subtracting a negative 1, which would be a plus 1. So be careful with that last term. You subtract the negative, which makes a positive 1. So from here I can combine like terms. 3x minus 1x gives me 2x, and 12 plus 1 gives me 13. And all that is over x plus 4. So I now have one fraction from the original two fractions that I had subtracted from each other. So this would be my new fraction, and that would be simplified already. Let's look at one more example. Here we have x minus 3x minus 6 over x minus 3 plus 3 over x minus 3. So what I need is a common denominator. All right, so we have x minus 3's already for the two fractions. We just need x minus 3 for the first fraction. So to make that happen, I can multiply the top and the bottom by x minus 3. So I now have x times x minus 3 over x minus 3 for the first fraction. And then from here I just combine into one fraction, and I distribute as well. So I have x times x, which is x squared, then x times negative 3, which is negative 3x, minus 3x, and you're also subtracting the 6 minus a negative 6, which becomes a plus 6. Then you have the plus 3 for the third fraction. And all of that is over x minus 3. Alright, and then I can simplify the numerator. We have x squared, and then negative 3x minus 3x would be negative 6x, and then 6 plus 3 would be 9. And then all of that would be over x minus 3. Now we're not quite finished yet, because that numerator can actually factor. So if you forget how to factor, maybe review back with the previous videos. But if you factor this correctly, you're going to get x and x to get x squared. To get 9, if we do negative 3 times negative 3, that would multiply to get positive 9. And negative 3 plus negative 3 would add to get negative 6 for the middle term. Then all of that is over x minus 3. So notice x minus 3 on the top can divide with the 1 on the bottom. So I'm left with x minus 3 on the top. So my solution is just x minus 3. And that concludes our lesson for today. We will see you next time.